Lonzo Ball's return to the court is nothing short of extraordinary. After battling through serious injury issues, including needing a rare meniscus transplant, many questioned whether he'd ever be able to play basketball at a high level again, with some believing that he was destined for doom.
I don't think he'll ever be the same based off of what we're seeing and hearing and reading about. I've heard that it's even hard for him to get up from the sitting position.
The whole thing was ugly. I can't lie, at one point, even I started to have some doubts. After a 2-season hiatus, not only has Zoe made it back, but he's thriving with the Chicago Bulls. His recovery and resilience are a testament to his heart, his dedication, and his big baller DNA. Alright, that was terrible, but I had to find a smooth way to shout out all of the Balls because they're all doing their own thing. Even Jello, who many tried to clown.
You ready for some hot?
Let's see.
I might swerve in that corner, whoa, whoa. Hold on tight, cause I tweaking this dope. And I heard that she wanna show, whoa. Me who she be, I'm kinda with it, show me some more. Tap your head to toe, could give a story.
A Jello video is coming soon, so subscribe with notifications on so that you don't miss that or any of the other content that I'm going to be dropping. When Lonzo made his long-awaited return to the court after 2 years, I won't lie, I got chills.
And so far, no setbacks are here in the camp. No setbacks. Just to the crowd.
Checking in for the Chicago Bulls, number 2, Lonzo Ball.
And then seeing him throw down a dunk for the first time in nearly 3 years against the Wizards, that was epic. I literally couldn't be more proud of this guy.
Tonight, another third belongs to Vucevic and White. They're the only 3 in double figures.
Look at it.
What a smart play by Lonzo Ball. He's going to dunk it home.
Tell me them knees ain't right. Tell me them knees not ready.
That's about as healthy as you could possibly look.
It's easy to forget just how serious that Zoe's injury was, especially when you consider where he is at now. Not long ago, this man couldn't even walk his dog or play with his daughter without experiencing pain. That sounds like a nightmare. At that point, this whole thing was so much bigger than basketball. Yet, despite everything that he's been through, one thing has been abundantly clear this season, and that's the fact that Lonzo still has plenty of high-level basketball left in him.
11 point San Antonio lead. Nice read by Lonzo Ball. Slings it ahead for Zach LaVine. The catch and the slam.
Good play. Lonzo Ball came over like a free safety.
Check out Lonzo here. He's playing like a free safety in football. The anticipation, the timing, and the instinct to make that play are things that you just can't teach. He reads the situation, steps off of his man, and cuts in to intercept the pass to a would-be wide-open player heading for the basket. Without Lonzo making that play, it's an easy layup or dunk for the Spurs, but instead, he sets up a highlight reel dunk for his buddy Zach LaVine.
Melo's been turnover prone this year. He handles the ball so much. Lonzo covers him up as he tried to step back for the 3.
Check out his defense on his little brother Lamelo here. He doesn't record a stat, but he repeatedly plays suffocating defense on him, which would have ruined this possession if Zach LaVine didn't fall asleep. But regardless of Zach LaVine falling asleep or not, defense like this is invaluable. Zoe's stats have been impressive in the past, but as I've pointed out, his stats extend far beyond what any stat sheet can capture. Zoe's ability to impact the game in so many ways is why any team with real championship aspirations should be eager to add Zoe to their roster. Is this a bad time to mention that Zoe's time in Chicago might be coming to an end? This is hard for me to say given how much that I've loved seeing Zoe in Chicago, but there have been some rumblings, and those rumblings are only getting louder. The rumors about him moving on are no longer just rumors. They're becoming something much more serious, with both sides looking towards the future. Earlier this season, a report surfaced that the Chicago Bulls were actively exploring trade options for Lonzo Ball. According to J.K. Fisher, league sources had indicated that the Bulls front office had been making it known to rival teams that they were open to discussing nearly their entire roster in trade talks. Later, we would continue to see things like how they were aggressively planning to shop Lonzo, and then that teams like the Clippers, Heat, Hornets, Lakers, Magic, Pistons, and Timberwolves all had interest in Zoe. So this brings us to the question, why would the Bulls want to lose Zoe if he's as good as I've been describing. As I've described before on this channel, the Bulls are where no team wants to be right now. They aren't good enough to be good, and they're slightly too good to be really bad, which is pretty tough when you consider how stacked that this draft class is at the top. I'm watching Cooper Flagg and Dace Bailey go off every single night and thinking everything that my Pelicans are so incompetent this season that it doesn't even matter that we're not trying to tank. We're getting a top pick regardless, which is honestly really sad when you think about it, but let's go with that glass being half full. The Bulls having the record that they do this season wouldn't be the worst if the Bulls were loaded with good prospects and had been prioritizing developing those prospects. This hasn't been the case. Ever since defying the odds and drafting Derrick Rose #1 overall in 2008, the Chicago Bulls have picked in the top 5 one time, and that pick was Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams was a project whose development they completely botched, and then they paid him. The Bulls have been long overdue for a full-scale rebuild. It would just make sense for both of these parties to go their separate ways. The Bulls get Zoe's contract off of the books, and Zoe finds himself in another basketball situation that makes sense for him. All of the teams that I mentioned earlier that were interested in him, they make sense for him, especially the Timberwolves, who can use another young two-way vetted guard with Mike Conley being 37. Rob Dillingham just had a big game against the Jazz, and I know that this guy is going to be a beast, but I think having Zoe there would only help with his development. And also, the Lakers, who are clearly in need of more point-of-attack defense at their guard position. They were so desperate for point-of-attack defense against the 76ers that they actually threw Bronny out there against Tyrese Maxey, which is wild. You already know that we're going to break down that situation in a video soon, so be sure to subscribe with notifications on so that you don't miss it. Those teams that I mentioned earlier, those were some nice teams. But what I would really love to see is Zoe getting the opportunity to team up with his brother Lamelo like his father has wanted.
Because he's going to shoot that ball. He feel he can just make so many points and win. That's just he's always been like.
So he's a point or two?
He's always played point out of necessity.
Right.
Like, okay, Lonzo leaves, play point.
Right.
But he loves to score the ball. He loves to score the ball. He did that one time when he scored the 92 points and everybody was like, what'd you think of that? I said, it was the best game ever. Because I unleashed him. I said, man, Jello not playing. Score as many points as possible, son. He loves to score.
Right.
But he will make the passes and do other things. But like I said, and people always said, well, if him and Lonzo played together, they are the best 1-2 punch that can alternate at times. Like if Melo get a rebound, he know Lonzo's running. So he gonna throw that long pass. And the same thing with Lonzo. Okay. That's why in high school, you saw Lonzo catch a lot of lobs, but they were mostly from Melo. Because he turns into the point guard real quick.
Sure.
And then Lonzo threw a lot of them where they say, oh, Melo's doing all the cherry picking, because Melo take off because he know Lonzo won't throw it, shoot a three-pointer, we good.
Right.
Imagine Lonzo Ball joining the Charlotte Hornets. That would be a game changer for so many reasons. As LeVar pointed out, having Lonzo and Lamelo on the floor at the same time would be like having two quarterbacks running the show. Both have an incredible understanding of the game, and what makes it special is that they grew up playing together, so they already know each other's tendencies inside and out. The chemistry between them would be special, and that chemistry would make this offense even more dynamic. Lamelo has been putting up impressive numbers this season: 28.2 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 7.3 assists, while shooting 41.9% from the field and 33.7% from three. But the Hornets have struggled as a team. What he's been accomplishing has been impressive, but imagine what he could do with Lonzo in the lineup. With Zoe's playmaking and defensive presence, Lamelo would likely see his efficiency spike, and there's a chance that he could even push his scoring averages higher. More importantly though, maybe the Hornets could start winning some more games. That is, assuming that they would both stay healthy, along with the rest of the team. I'm not exactly sure what has been going on in Charlotte, but watching their injury issues unfold has made me feel a little better about the injury struggles of my New Orleans Pelicans. If you've seen my latest Pelicans video, then you would know that our situation has been so bad that even our former players are taking shots at us. But seriously, the Hornets just can't catch a break when it comes to health. No matter what they do, somebody always seems to go down. How bad that their luck has been is almost impossible to explain. And again, this is coming from a Pelicans fan. Just the other night, Lamelo sprained his ankle after literally backpedaling after a shot.
He fouls just to stop the clock and possibly leave the game.
Oh, my. Look at this deep step back there. Sees it go through and just right there. Oh, man.
This was almost as bad as Zoe spraining his ankles just dribbling the ball up the court. When stuff like this is happening, I mean, what are you supposed to do? The Hornets seem cursed when it comes to injuries. It's like they can never get a full, healthy roster on the floor at the same time. It's frustrating because despite what some may think, there's some nice young talent on that team. Now, while the idea of Lonzo teaming up with Lamelo and Charlotte is something that a lot of us have dreamt about, there's another reunion that Lonzo would like. And this one might surprise you if you haven't been following him closely throughout his career. You see, Lonzo has always been open about how much he valued his time at Chino Hills. For him and Onyeka, those years were some of the best years of their lives.
Well, that 35-0 season, bro, it was so fun. You know, playing along these guys, him, Lonzo, him, Jello, Melo, Eli, you know, playing with my friends, winning games.
Yep.
But that's so fun. You know, sometimes I still think about those times. You know, best times of my life for real.
Yeah, for real.
We were just young kids having fun.
Hey, man, it can happen again, man. Just
Facts.
gotta.
Do you
just gotta
regret
try.
those practices that I used to put you out there?
Even though Zoe has dealt with his own personal issues, him and Onyeka have kept a tight connection. We all know about the Ball brothers bond, but this guy is somebody that Lonzo has always had huge respect for. This sounds sort of dumb to say, but I feel like a lot of people forget that Onyeka was part of that Chino Hills group. Can you guys believe that Onyeka was the 6th overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft? How loaded was this Chino Hills team? So just to be clear, I'm in no way saying that everybody teaming up would result in them forming a super team or anything like that. Just more so that something like this would be fun to see. Again, with everybody wanting to link up, it's something that's definitely on the table. Could you guys see all of the stars of that Chino Hills squad linking back up and playing on the same team? Or do you think that they'll just continue to be great in their own way? I definitely want to do a video on that whole squad, so if that's something that you guys want, that might be something that I have to bring to the channel. Anyways guys, there's some more going on in the basketball world that I need to be covering, so clicking the video on the screen right now and using code COOP for Underdog are both great ways to support this channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.